What do you do when somebody accuses you of flirting and you know that you weren't flirting? And then the person followed up with the question of, what are my thoughts on flirting in general? I have quite a few thoughts on that. One of my videos on YouTube is how to be friends with people without being accused of being a tease, and just to be friendly to lots of people in an appropriate manner. So that can be a help in this topic. But first, let's start with what to do when somebody accuses you of something that you think is a false accusation. The first thing about having a godly response when somebody comes to you and talks to you about something is to start humbly and recognize, if this person is thinking ill of me, you know what? There are a lot of things that they could probably validly think ill of you about. So maybe they just hit the mark on this one. It's okay, because their opinion does not define your value. But they might see something that you don't see in yourself. So first, be humble in the fact that if they think ill of you, that's okay. Second, if they see something in you that you don't, they're actually your help. Even if they're an enemy, even if they don't like you and they're doing it maliciously, they can still be a help to you, to help you gain some discernment. So humility is really your biggest friend in this, to think, if it's not true, and that was not my intention in how I communicated, how is it that I am miscommunicating? Because some people might say you're a jerk, or might say that you're rude, and you're like, I am not being rude. Why do people keep calling me a jerk? And the fact is that what's in here is coming out in a way where other people feel it differently than your intentions. So you need to have a little bit more self-awareness of how you're communicating. Now, there also could just be the fact that this person might have malice against you, and might just have a critical spirit, and you can feel that it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to find fault in you. So let's go back to the first point, that, you know what? There is fault in you, and there's fault in me. They just hit the wrong one. So it's okay if they have malice in their heart against you, if they want to cause shame to your name. And then the verse comes to mind, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. You care about your reputation, and that's okay. Caring about your reputation is different than being a man pleaser and doing things for vainglory. So this goes to the other biblical principle of abstaining from all appearance of evil. If what you're doing communicates that you could be flirting, and if in that situation flirting would have been sinful, then course correct. Be like, okay, so that's probably not wise to do that or say that in that scenario around those type of people. But that all being said, in relation to when somebody's accusing you of something that you believe is a false accusation, I'm going to switch now to what's wrong with flirting. Flirting isn't necessarily bad. Being a tease and leading somebody on is uncharitable. Being a tease in a sensual manner of trying to get somebody's attention or something from somebody by offering thoughts that are sensual in nature, that is sinful. But flirting, making eye contact, laughing at somebody's joke in an appropriate manner is absolutely a healthy and good thing. When it is not a good thing is if you are married and you are doing that with somebody who's not your spouse. I, as a married woman, I am cordial with other men. I am businesslike with other men, because I do not want to make provision for the flesh. The statistical probability of an affair and divorce is very high, and I don't need to put any temptation out there for another man, or for me to become attached to any other man besides my husband. I don't want to lay breadcrumbs unintentionally. So, but I am I'm an encourager by personality, and I see something and I'm just like, oh, I really like that. So when I first got married, and I moved to this church, so people didn't really know who I was or my personality, and a man walked through the door and I said, oh, you look great in that tie. I love it. And then my pastor, who's been like a pastor for years, and he's a very, very serious man. And I was a pastor's daughter, so I didn't really take pastors super seriously. And he had this hat, and I kind of like went, looking good in your hat. My husband was like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know. What are you talking about? He's like, you can't do that. I was like, what did I do? And that was a case where I was unintentionally being inappropriate just because I just want to encourage everybody. I think that the very first thing I notice about people is what they look like. And so I'm continually telling women, oh, I really like your dress. That's super cute. And I mean it. But my husband said, rather than saying, looking good in that hat, or you look great in that tie, say, I like your hat. I like how your tie complements your shirt. Be very objective. Just definitely a distance between the person and the attribute of the thing that I like. So I just had to learn and gain a little bit of discernment and awareness of how circumspect is probably a good word for it. How do my words affect the people around me? So when it comes to being a married woman or being a single person talking to married people, be circumspect, be prudent, be discerning about what you say and how it could impact people or make provision for their flesh, even if you are coming from a completely innocent side of things. We don't know what's going on in other people's lives. But as a single person talking to another single person, and you're not being sensual in any manner, you're not being a flatterer, go for it. Be friendly, laugh, tell them they look great in their hat. It's not a sin to be that way. I don't see anywhere in scripture. You're not making provision to do something wicked. You're not even talking about wicked things. So as long as you keep things on the up and up, you're good to go. That's my thoughts on flirting.